Good morning, YouTube. It is Survivor Nomad, and I am back at you guys with another video. I am at one of my favorite little coffee spots, and I'm actually having tea here. If you watch my videos, you know how much I love tea. And I am going to sit here and kind of just talk to you guys. This is a very interesting little place. It's like some kind of motorcycle shop. I'll give you guys a little tour of it towards the end of the video so you can see how interesting this little place is. But getting around to what we're here for, which is to talk about narcissistic abuse. And today I want to talk to you guys about what it means to leave a narcissist and what to do once you've left. I'm just going to be straightforward with you guys. Leaving a narcissist is basically going no contact and getting the person out of your life completely. And as I've said before in some of my previous videos, some of you guys are not able to do that, and you're only able to go minimal contact with the person because you have children with them, or you're married, or you own a business together, and there's just no way to completely break contact without damaging those relationships or getting into some kind of legal trouble. So this video is not to you, but it is to everyone else who has left the abuser or is in the planning stages of of leaving your abuser, and you're coming up with your safety plan. So I want to go ahead and just tell you guys the next step after you've basically got some kind of finances in place. And you may not have any money, and that's okay. Like, if you don't have money, leaving is still a primary option. It is still, I think, one of the most important things you can do. There are resources. For instance, for any of you guys who are gonna need shelter, okay? There are domestic violence shelters. You will call the 1-800 domestic violence hotline number, and someone can help you there. They can direct you to resources, and you can start to figure this thing out. I am going to drink some tea here, guys. So you've decided to leave, you've left, you're gonna call the 1-800 number, you're gonna get to a safe place first. Call the 1-800 number, the domestic violence hotline, and ask them to connect you with a shelter. Now, there are a number of different kinds of shelters, and depending on the part of the country you live in, that will determine where you're going, okay? But just call that number and they will direct you to a shelter, and they will help you get there. I don't want to go into a lot of details about how that process works, because I do realize that there are narcs on pages, and that a lot of abusers will come to web pages and YouTube sites to find out information, okay, about how to pretend to be victims. So I don't want to go into a lot of details. I just want to say that they will vet you and try to determine if you are in imminent danger, meaning that you need somewhere right now. You're in imminent danger. If you are in imminent danger, please stress that point to them, that you really need somewhere to stay, and you are in imminent danger. You just left your abuser and you have nowhere to go, okay? Sometimes it may take a couple of calls before you find the right place for you, or before you find a place that has space. So don't lose hope. Continue calling. Some of you guys may be able to depend on family and friends to actually house you. And honestly, I think that would probably be a very, very good option if your abuser does not know where you're going. If you're able to keep it confidential, your family member is in agreement with you that they will not tell your abuser where you are, then that's a good option as well. I myself went into a shelter after staying with my brother for a couple of weeks, because I felt like I needed to be somewhere where I can be completely alone and just try to get my stuff together, okay? So it just depends on your situation and your particular circumstances, how you want to do it. I don't care really, as long as you're safe. You know, it's your life, you know what's best, go with that. I'm just presenting some options, some things that I did, okay? So once you call the number, they're gonna connect you with the shelter. You're gonna go into that shelter. The shelters have rules, of course. It's not home, but it is a safe place, guys. So keep that in mind while you're there. Try to abide by the rules the best way you can and do what you need to do to get yourself out. There's one thing in particular I want to say. Do not go to shelters expecting them to do everything for you. Get up in the morning, go looking for jobs. If you need resources and you need help with finding a job or figuring out certain things, getting important documents, ask them for help with that. But as far as putting the footwork in, guys, wake up early, get up, go job hunting. Get up and go to the different administration offices and things like that where you need to get your paperwork. Do it quickly. In most short-term shelters, you're only going to have between 30 and 45 days to get things done. And that sounds like a lot of time, but it really is not a lot of time if you have no documents at all. You have no birth certificate, your abuser may have your important documents, you're not able to go back into the house and get them, things like that. That's not a lot of time at all, and you really need to get on top of getting all of your documents, getting everything you need so that you can quickly get yourself back to a place of stability. Because a lot of times when you initially leave your abuser, you don't feel all of the emotions that are going to come flooding you right away because you're in a state of fight or flight and you're in an adrenaline zone. But at some point, and this is different for everybody, those feelings are going to start to flood you. And they sometimes can handicap you in a sense that you may go into a blue stage. And I call a blue stage, it's not true depression, but you feel very sad, you feel sluggish, you feel like you can't do anything, you're down on yourself because now you're feeling homeless, you're feeling, you just had a dramatic change in life circumstances, and it is a lot to bear. So I'm telling you, let that fight or flight stage work for you. That energy, that burst that you're feeling, all that anxiety, funnel that into positive things like getting all your stuff together, getting all your paperwork together, trying to stabilize your housing situation, going to get benefits if you need them, because some people will need food benefits and all kinds of other things. So use that energy, use that negative energy and tunnel that and funnel that negative energy into positive things that actually work for you, because you don't know from one day to the next what will happen that will put you in a position where you're not able to get as much done in a day, okay? So always be working 3-4 steps ahead of yourself. So let's just say now you're in the shelter, you're feeling a little bit comfortable, you're becoming acclimated to the shelter. There are shelter rules to keep both you safe and the girl safe. Please abide by these rules, guys. Please do not contact your abuser. Do not tell them where you are. Do not give out the address of these shelters, and just don't do it. It not only puts you at risk, but it puts the other women who are there and children who are there at risk, okay? Don't do it. So you're in the shelter, you become acclimated. The next thing I would recommend, and this is what I did, is to just go out and start to gather up all the resources and all the help. They're gonna have community centers where you can go, buildings where some of them, in some cities, the entire building has everything in it that you will need. You can go to different areas in the building to get the resources that you need, like benefits, like you may need housing. They have booklets in certain cities that is full of like food pantries and churches who give away clothes. And when I tell you there is help out there, do not be afraid to leave your abuser because you think there is no help. There are clothes shelters. There are clothing shelters. Let's see. There are places that will give you food. There are places that will give you vouchers. Some shelters even offer gas vouchers for those of you who have cars, and they will give you a voucher for gas. Not every shelter is like this. Like I said, once again, it depends on the shelter. It also depends on the state where you are and what's available to you. But that's what I'm saying. In the stages of planning out your safety plan, guys, that would be a great time to figure out what benefits are available to a woman who's being abused, who is needing help. Do your research, call places. Be very, very discreet about this though, because you don't want your abuser to discover that you're doing this. You know, if you have to use someone else's phone, if you have to go to a friend or family member's home to make these calls and to do this research, do not take any written information or any documentation that you've gotten from somewhere back to your home in that house with their abuser where you leave, because you may believe this or you may not believe this, but abusers a lot of times are watching your every move. They're invading your privacy. They're going through your purse. They're going through your phone. A lot of times they have software already on your computers and your phone where they can see everything that you're doing, okay? So please, 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 by all means, be as safe as possible. If you need to go to the library, that's a very good place. If you need to use a computer, if you're afraid your abuser may have some kind of access to your computer, I'm going to be honest with you. Even if you don't think he has access to your computer, play it safe. Go to the library and use the library computer. That way, there's no way that he can trace that information and see what you're doing and what you're up to, okay? Because it is dangerous, so dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. If your abuser realizes that you're leaving, that is the most dangerous time for you. When you leave, it is the most dangerous time for you. That is when they're the most desperate, and a lot of times they will do just about anything to regain that control. And sometimes if they feel like they cannot regain that control, then they can become violent, okay? So please be safe, be smart, be very, very shrewd in everything you do. Don't take anything for granted, and if it's possible for them to see something, then don't do it, okay? That's the rule of thumb I would go with. You know, if you have a computer and it's possible, don't even use your computer. Go to a library, okay? Or use somebody else's device that the abuser does not have access to. So you're in the shelter, you've gone out to the different organizations. The shelter can give you referrals, and they can write you referrals into other centers and other places that can help you. A lot of the shelters have their own clothing closet. They have a place where you could actually go inside of, and they've been given donations, and so they have clothes, they have houseware, they have all kinds of things. So once you're in the shelter for a certain amount of time, from day one, start asking about if you needed long-term housing, because a shelter is not long-term housing. In general, it's short-term, 30 to 45 days. Some places are a little bit longer, some places a little bit less, okay? You need to find out what rules apply to the place where you're staying. Then once you get those resources in place, you need to start working with whoever your worker is at your shelter to find out if there are long-term options for you. Do not sit back. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, okay, I'm taking care of it all. Don't do it. Because at the end of your 30 days, you might find yourself out of the shelter and figuring out where you're going from there. Take control of your own destiny. One of the things that we've done as abuse victims is given other people power over our lives and control of our lives. Do not, and I repeat, I don't care who it is, give anybody full control and power over your life ever again. That is the one mistake that I think we made. And it's crucial in this journey that you learn to take control. So you're going to be checking with your worker. You're going to be following up with them. I would at least say on a weekly basis, okay? Let's say you got 30 days, that's 4 weeks. Every week you need to be following up saying, hey, did you send my paperwork out to such and such long-term stay place? Have you heard anything? Do they have any openings? Be kind, be respectful, but be firm, guys. Don't let anybody just tell you anything, okay? Follow up, do all the legwork. Don't just wait around for the worker to do everything. You have to realize that they have other women that they're working with. They have other people that they have to help out. You're not the only person that they're seeing. You need to do as much as you can do for yourself. It's a journey. It's not going to be easy, but I am a living evidence, and there are so many other women, men and women that are living evidence that it can be done. You can start your life over. You can restore yourself, okay? So this is part one of, so now I've left, and I will do a part 2 and continue this thing until we get you guys to some semblance of safety. I love you guys. Please like and subscribe to my video, and I hope to see you guys on part 2. I think on part 2 I will show you this cute little coffee shop. All right, bye.